notice has been provided specifying the time for this meeting of City Council. In accordance with the Public Meetings Act, the annual notice is mailed to the time and Trenton newspaper posted on the first floor bulletin board of City Hall and from the City Clerk's office on July 1st, 2006. The agenda for this meeting is mailed, posted, and filed on May 31st, 2007. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Present.
Here. Here. Okay, thank you. Before we get started, just want to let members of council know, Ms. Latif is deaf. Not in her immediate family, but we was her former ex-husband, should I say, passed away. So at your given time, I want to express your appreciation. I'm sure she would appreciate it. I was just asking her to take this time while she's reading the process of mine, pardon me, her daughter's father. And that's my understanding that she will not be joining us Tuesday as well. If you can have, we can find out information in regards to also, before we get started, we'll just recognize Mr. Mike Goldstein for 1 second.
Hi.
And, tell us your project again really quickly before we get into the day you wanted to do something before you went.
Sure. Michael Goldstein from HHG. You've designated us in the past for some properties on Center Street, and the official marketing launch is this weekend, and we're marking that with a party and wanted to invite you all. The party is inside the Cracker Factory, which is a 22,000 square foot building that we bought privately as part of the whole development that will be converted to 18 condos.
Mike, address?
Address is 242 Center Street on Sunday the 10th from 2 to 7 p.m. We're going to have the Tim Warfield Quartet there, who's one of the top...
Tim is a graduate of Howard University. We're in the same class.
He's a wonderful...
He's
you know how good
a personal friend of mine.
Wonderful. I got him. Wow. His quartet. They're playing at Ortlieb's Friday and Saturday, and they're coming to the
I look forward to seeing him.
Well, I hope they'll see you there.
And
it's going to be a great. We converted one of the barn-like structures in the inn to a jazz club, and there'll be an exhibit of the history and information about the condominiums all up and down Center Street. So I hope anyone who's here can come.
Okay, 2 to 7 on Sunday, June 10th.
That's this coming Sunday,
right.
2 to 7.
2 to 7, 242 Center Street.
242 Center Street.
Michael, look forward to seeing you, John and Dave, and look forward to seeing you guys doing that.
Great. Now, it's pre-construction, mind you. This is pre-construction.
Will he protect it or?
No, you don't need protection. We clean it up good.
You know what? Let us know when that's slow.
Well, we'll let you know, too.
Congratulations. Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, with the 4 o'clock portion of the meeting.
I'll see you Sunday.
I look forward to it.
Hope you can come.
Yes, see you Sunday.
1 second, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. Yes, sir.
I've been looking through the rules governing council and Robert's Rules of Order to find out about conference sessions or even regular sessions being canceled. I haven't been able to find the names except by a full vote of the council as to how that happens.
Oh, let's go to the market. Wings for
Send me an email on that.
Yeah.
She's back to you, but you're correct. The rules provide that the mayor controls council. The majority of council control. Requesting the mayor or the council president to control council. There's nothing specifically about canceling. In the past, it has been custom here that the council president has done that, and that's frequently done. I did a Google search with regard to cancellation of meetings. It's frequently done that way, but there's nothing that mandates it or either mandates it or prohibits it. The problem that would arise if it required a full vote of council, if something comes up between council meetings, there's no provision to cancel a meeting.
Okay, so it's kind of an unwritten. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, no problem. And I will justify to the extent that generally sometimes we have an extra Tuesday in the month of meeting. And with regards to my briefing or my daily briefing with the administration, particularly in the pains, I will check with her with regards to any pressing issues, certainly any issues that we've discussed at the table that we'll be prepared to go. Sometimes holidays kind of fall into effect. Quite frankly, sometimes members need a break from the table. Yeah, so, I mean, there's nothing malicious, there's no malice intent of meetings. We get our fair share of meetings. And matter of fact, I believe I asked, David, you brought up the ordinance where the withdraw it. Okay. You recall everyone that clerk passed out the list for these annual meetings coming starting July 1st. And we actually take a look at it in regards to dates. I submitted some recommended dates that I thought. Generally in July and August we've had one meeting, but we've always been on call with that. We had a couple of meetings if there was an emergent issue. And that was based around vacation time for people to take vacations. Business kind of got slow generally during the summer months. I'm sorry, did you hear me, sir? Yeah, business got slow during the summer months. So if you have any questions with regards, let's just get in now because we have to have that passed by the last meeting, the last public meeting. Yes, sir. Well, I wouldn't call it summer vacation. We just don't have a meeting. Right, okay. I want to say that. Yeah. But to make room for you. Yes, sir. Those were the recommendations on previous years. Yeah, and they were. I didn't necessarily set them at the beginning. At least the ones that I submitted. We have opportunities if you want to do it, kind of put them in the middle. So, but that's why I'm saying if there's a specific date, let's get it to the table. By the last public meeting of this month. So we have another Thursday this month because of the ordinance. So we have to be ready. Resolution, please. Yeah, we have to be ready. But you said the administration hasn't been ready.
Yeah, and they'll have to say something.
Okay. Ms. Ames? With regards to specific dates? We can talk about it.
Yes, sir.
Not right now. Yeah. So we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. There is a portion of the meeting, the docket review. Madam Clerk, yes, ma'am.
The ordinance and the public hearing on AR and ordinance authorizing a lease agreement between the city of Trenton and Howard Johnson for the use of vacant city-owned property regarding 413 Stuyvesant Avenue.
Moved by Councilman Cruz. Second.
One BL, an ordinance authorizing a lease between the city of Trenton and Miguel Vega for the use of vacant city-owned properties regarding it. Thank you so much.
Any communications and petitions? No, I'm just saying, any members have any questions or comments on the communications and the petitions? Report, application of bond.
On the report shows a graphic, and under applications and bonds, there's two resolutions for attempting transfer of alcohol beverage licenses is listed. Resolution approving transfer of alcohol beverage license number 1111-36-002-011, consumption license. Buddy Club, LLC, Hotel Umbrella, Inc., 77 79 South Broad Street. And
That's but, you know what I'm saying, the owner's,
The Feltuses.
Stafford McGarry, that Buffalo man?
Yeah.
So they moved, they're selling them? They're selling their license? You're right across from, administration. Yes, ma'am.
for PR, a resolution to transfer alcohol services 11-33-075-004 consumption license from Leroy and Sons Inc. to Mela Shell, 83 Lee George and Sons Inc. That one you want? Yeah. Okay. How do you pronounce the other one?
Rooney. Rooney,
Oh, now this board, thank you.
Rooney.
Thank you.
That's married. This lady's married. Okay.
5AR, a resolution accepting bid and awarding contract to Fancy Uniforms of Newell, New Jersey for the furnishing and provision of station uniforms for Department 5 in the amount not to exceed $30,400.05.
It's like my, with regard to uniforms to the fire department, when fire class, you ready to go in? Or,
Pardon?
we're getting, is there a training academy, getting ready to start for the fire?
Oh, there is a class in place, there's a new active class now from.
Okay, getting ready to come out?
Promotional, yeah.
Okay, so they will be the benefactors of these uniforms?
I believe that these uniforms are replacement uniforms for the existing staff.
Okay. Could you keep us informed of the, next fire?
Certainly.
5BR, resolution amending resolution number 06-162 that awarded a contract to a fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 19-44A-20.5 except Viper, Danzig, Strayer, Highland, and Ferretti, Trenton, New Jersey, to provide professional legal services regarding water systems.
For the record, what does that mean, they're providing legal services? Is this in regards to the, sale of the,
Yes, it is.
okay, that's fine.
5PR, resolution accepting bid and awarding contract to Bucks County International Inc. of Langhorne, Pennsylvania for the furnishing and delivery of one 2008 model International rear loading cab and chassis and one each high compact rear load body for the Department of Public Works Division of Solid Waste Management in an amount not to exceed $123,619.
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask Director Jackson, how is that fleet in terms of modernization? Are we
With approvals
updating our
of
fleet and
the capital budget, which we continue to keep renewing our fleet, is going extremely well over the past 4 to 5 years. Where each year we're at least putting 2 to 3 new garbage trucks on the road and putting out some of the older ones. So the process is working out extremely well for maintaining and keeping our fleet constant and with new vehicles.
okay. Total number of garbage trucks, sanitation trucks?
I'm going to say I don't have the exact number, about 25 to 28, yes.
Okay, and within that number, how many were within the last 3 years?
3, 6, probably about 8 over the last 3 years.
One thing I've never seen was a garbage truck that has a breakdown in the garbage.
We have good mechanics.
I've never seen it.
Break down a couple of times.
I can tell we got good mechanics. We try to keep them rolling to get the chassis up.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
You can always tell the new ones from the old ones.
Well, that you
got the shiny
can.
grill.
That you can. That's one way.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Clerk.
Somebody can take it back 5 years.
Yeah, that's it for your hands.
5 ER
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
be right with you. 5 ER resolution accepting and awarding contract with Butler County International Inc. of Langhorne, Pennsylvania for the furnishing and delivery of one East 2008 model cab and chassis capable of carrying a 20 cubic yard body for the Department of Public Works Division of Solid Waste Management in the amount not to exceed $81,571.
They say in Newark they bought their trucks with Homeland Security. That's not what we do. That's a good question. That's actually a good question. Yeah, well, so Mr. Page asked a good question. I was being teaching to an extent, but do we receive Homeland Security funds here in the city? Or should I say, or have they been grants to the Attorney General's office?
The state does receive the funds, and then they're dispersed to the counties, and the counties then to the municipalities.
Yeah. Have we been benefactors of those policies?
Not that I'm aware of much, yeah.
I guess we have no target, so nothing to be concerned about, huh?
Well, we've been arguing that we do.
I mean, I would think the state capital, you know.
Reasonable. Federal courthouses and all the rest.
All right, next one, 5 years.
IDR is resolution providing for dispersion of a special item of revenue in the budget of the municipality. The county works with 2007 for energy distribution program, $156,000. The early disposition program.
Yes. This is a program which basically attempts to dispose of cases against individuals who are incarcerated in Mercer County Prison. So this is a grant from the county to consolidate charges and basically add extra sessions.
It is not the same as PCI.
No.
Five F4 resolution authorizing the city council to accept the grant from the New Jersey Department of Health and Senior Services for the problem of mass poisoning prevention, CLPP grant in the amount of $130,000. Five PR resolution authorizing the city council to apply for a grant from the Mercer County One-Stop Studio Center Workforce Induction Act to provide youth ages 19 and 21 occupational skills, employment and skills between employees.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir, Mr. Segura.
I'd like to get an explanation in the type of how these services are diversified and what is the procedure to participate in this program.
May I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay. This funding is provided for a 19 to 20-year-old out-of-school youth population, and its aim is to fund for job preparation, GED, there's some stipends involved, and job placement for 20 youth. That in essence is the purpose. It's not a huge grant, so it's limited in scope.
And how the participant, what is the criteria that you're using to actually get this information to the people that might want to participate.
I'm gonna leave that response for Director School. And hopefully she'll be down today, maybe we can ask her.
Thank you.
And we can go for a future MOED update as well. Sally, if you want to understand that.
By the terms of resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between County and Water Borough and City of Trenton.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm ready to work before I start.
I'm going to ask the specific of that same question. I'm familiar with it, but what are we attempting to do here?
Mr. President, Councilwoman, as a result of a need the police director has found, as well as a need that the business establishment listed here has determined that it has, we have an agreement which is allowed by law, what Mr. Lockwood expound on it as you may need, but we have an agreement for the business to essentially reimburse the city for the cost of providing that police service because of several emerging public safety concerns around that establishment. And is your question?
Local bars
Yeah.
have also requested police.
This is not just a,
And so if they can't get it, how does Catman do get it?
good question.
They are not providing security services for the bars.
Right.
They're providing crowd control and controlling the parking lots only. The bar still has to have its own security. The ABC regulations do not permit police officers in the municipality in which they work to provide security security services to a bar. But they do permit crowd control outside the parking lots and patrolling the parking lots. And these police officers will essentially be there specifically.
No, if I may add to that, the reason what created this was an issue of what turned out to be something of a large gang fight that was outside the premises of the establishment. And obviously the business itself had a desire that even anywhere near it, that it doesn't have this kind of negative occurrence there near or around or about its property. So that's their business interest there. This is beyond the issue of it being an ABC establishment. It is an issue of crime, safety, crowd control, and public safety in the city of Trenton as has been determined by the police director and the police department. These police officers are still on duty for the city of Trenton, still at the beck and call of the city of Trenton and the police director at that time. They are not agents of the bar. They are not, doing alcohol checks or the rest, or any work on behalf of the bar.
My conversation with the manager was too, that they found that there was a lot of gang members coming down there, and they were holding us to like it's just their policy, with the population coming in and dressing, and some people have to be turned away, and some people, I guess, they hang around in the parking lot, and cause chaos. So, I mean, police have always been through there around closing time, I understand. But I didn't know how prevalent it was. Was that an isolated incident or was something that was reduced?
Well, what the police have noted was a growing problem with the issue of the public safety issue that you just described in around that area. Bottom line being, we see it as a policing problem. We're not looking at it as patrolling for the bar, but it is a policing problem. And because it is near the establishment, the establishment considers it to be a problem which they are concerned about. And that is what allows for by the law, as Mr. Lockwood has explained, for the establishment to be able to reimburse the city for that.
Well, in principle, I don't agree with this because it's like, I just don't agree with this because they get special attention and they're going to pay for the special attention. It's almost like take place, you have to like take this place, they want to have this
difference, if I might, if you pardon the interruption, the difference is that it's not special attention for them, and that the city would have to address this matter regardless. If it is a public safety concern, which the director has determined that it is, then it's one that the city has to address regardless of who pays the bill. It's one that happens to benefit both parties. It's not just an issue of policing the bar or giving the bar special attention.
So I appreciate that.
Sure, yes, sir.
Can we roll call that?
Madam Clerk?
Resolution also by resolution authorizing the execution of the agreement between the State of New Jersey Department of Transportation and the City of Trenton. In the amount up to $60,000, which you have emailed me to change the dollar amount from 20 up to 60,000 if the city would again. And I did make copies of it for you to
This is the transportation one here? What's this in reference to?
Mr. President, this is an agreement between the city and the Department of Transportation. They have a traffic improvement project along Route 29, Sullivan Way to West Upper Ferry Road. And during the construction phase of the project, it is the policy of the state to offer work to police in the affected municipality.
Okay.
And this is a reimbursement to the municipality for all the hours during which our police officers work, and that's the traffic law.
What's the rest of it?
Probably.
Yes, ma'am.
By general resolution amending resolution 06308, which authorized the city of Trenton to submit an application and to accept and disperse funds from the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency's Market Finance Neighborhood Investment Program and Phase 2 of the Legal Home Ownership Fund.
Explanation on that?
No, just
Mr. Council President, this adds an additional 4 home ownership units to a project that the council has previously approved and has been funded substantially by the state of New Jersey. There's an opportunity to add 4 additional units to the project. The state funding sources have requested that we add it. The developer has requested it, and it's just an opportunity to add 4 to a project that's almost done. And it's home ownership.
yes, sir.
Mr. Gonzalez, where's this located, sir?
Let's see where the 4 units are.
That's not Broad Street.
These units are scattered throughout the city.
Okay.
It's not in one particular place. I can let you know where these additional 4 units are, but I don't have that right now.
You don't know.
Oh, yeah. Rather than $25,000 general obligation line, consisting of $18,081,000 paper bond and $2,294,000 sewer utility bond with City of Trenton, County of New Jersey, and providing for your explanation, please.
These are bonds that, with your approval, we will issue. And it's based upon notes coming due. We've looked at the fiscal efficacy of either rolling the notes over or rolling them into bonds. Some of the debt that's coming due, some of the dollars coming due are going to be rolled into bonds. Some of the notes are just going to be rolled over. So this is with consultation with bond counsel and our financial advisor.
Item R, resolution of City of Trenton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, making application to the local finance board. Item R, resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of general and improvement bonds. The City of Trenton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, into a single issue of bonds aggregating $19,281,000 in principal amount. Five NR, resolution providing for the combination of certain issues of utility bonds of the City of Trenton and the County of Mercer, New Jersey, into a single issue of bonds aggregating $2,294,000 in principal amount. OR is a resolution authorizing some grant agreements between the City of Trenton and various charitable nonprofit organizations to provide prevention and early intervention services to juveniles.
Mr. Square.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This, I have in the past, for quite some time now, asked, in general, that an explanation for the purpose of accountability, that the breakdown of these services, is given to these bodies for quite some time now. I asked 2.5 years ago or more. I asked now, and I continue asking. And my reason behind that is because we know that many of these dollars, have been taken away from us by the federal government, and we need to know and make sure that each one of these entities that we provide, whatever monies it is, that they have accountabilities and that the services are being provided accordingly, so that we can allow ourselves, to be accountable for these monies and many other things that happen on an everyday basis in the city of Trenton. So perhaps I'd like to see that one more time. I'd like to ask one more time about the breaking down of these services for each one of these agencies that we provide money for. Please.
Is this cool, en route?
I can see if she can, see if she can get it here.
So I'll be curious, is this a subcontractor? We don't do any, we do RFPs on this, or are these traditional agencies that receive these types of dollars? I guess you just said, what are the dollars getting?
Yeah, I mean, about 2.5 years ago, we sat here and we found out that some of these agencies that have been defunded, they were getting this money, some of them automatically, but found out that the services not really being rendered.
No, this is diversion. Yeah, this is different. I think
No, I'm talking about this one and the difference between the other agencies that we have across the state, across the city of Trenton. This and the others.
Oh, okay, I'm just telling you that these are, I understand what you're saying. I think the agencies that you were speaking of were from the CDBG funding.
Right.
But these still do have required evaluation processes and all, which I think is what you're saying.
Right, exactly.
No problem.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm in this school, this is, 5 PR.
Resolution authorizing transfers to be made by the Director of Finance of fiscal year 2007 appropriations.
Just press the button there. Just press the button. Oh, button there. No, ya said you got it now.
Shall I? Hey, just a minute. Someone needs to put the board.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, put it on hold.
No, you're stopping you, a gentleman speaking Spanish.
Oh, hello? Hello?
No, that's mine. I think that's
You got a good number. Yes.
It was really for you.
Is your name Simon?
It's all a big joke. City Works, Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation in the amount of $140,000 to streetscape improvement in the East Trenton neighborhood to link the Acapulco Greenway with the neighborhood revitalization.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. President,
You have the floor, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir Gonzalez.
Yes, sir.
I know that we've been going back and forth, Ryan, is this a continuation of?
Yeah, the development of the park and the neighborhood surrounding the park has been and will continue to be a very long process. As you know, the park is ultimately going to be about 99 acres, and we've had contracts before you, Green Acres money, Army Corps of Engineer, all sorts of things. This is actually a little bit different because this is the first step in seeking funds to link the development of the park with improvements to the surrounding neighborhood. And we've been working with CityWorks, which is a nonprofit organization which works with other community organizations like the East Trenton Collaborative, et cetera, and Father Brian, to seek funding to start the process of looking at the boundaries between the park and the community. This is for streetscaping.
Yes. We start this pretty soon, or?
Well, this one is an application for funding, which we wouldn't do unless we had some hope. And it's an ongoing process. You remember the acquisition of the Scarpati property,
Right.
Crescent Wire. You will see something on here for it.
Okay.
So it's multiple pieces over time.
All right, thank you.
On RR, resolution authorizing amendment to the contract which was awarded to a fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 1974/2025 extract with Codus Fitzpatrick, Cole, and Legal LLP of Teaneck, New Jersey, to provide professional legal services, civil rights, and other specialized litigation in an amount not to exceed $25,000.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'm not having the historical knowledge of some of these. I'm told that years ago, a lot of Congress to handle all of litigation.
That's it.
So, if we reach an age of specialization, or we're getting sued more often, we have to find out a lot of this.
We've always farmed out a large percentage. We don't have a large number of attorneys in the department. There's always rugged that do litigation. I just some that soon do it full time. The vast majority of the work is farmed out. And that's been the situation.
I have a question to Ms. Ryan. We cannot find anybody around here in the city of Trenton, or maybe in Mercer, that can do stuff.
The problem that we have is that the local attorneys generally are the attorneys who represent the plaintiffs locally, so we have to go outside of the Trenton because they have conflicts.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
just for the record, I'd like to roll call this one.
That's 5 hours.
Yes.
I don't think it's 5, that's, no.
Rights and Navy LLP of Rose Managers to provide professional legal services, civil rights, and other specialized litigation in an amount not to exceed $40,000. From the fiscal year.
Yes, yeah, he's working 12 hours shift.
Oh, trying to save that money, huh?
Well, somebody's on vacation. That's why he's looking for a job.
Yeah, he told me I hope he gets something.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
So did
for,
you,
5PR,
Must be
Five.
hard for him.
5PR,
Right, okay, I think you do.
no, PR, P as in town.
Mhm.
This is just a question, Dennis, that I'm going to ask you, because I really don't know, but, Mr. President, do you remember, we were knocking on doors, by, there was some property that they would have done by, what is that, Pennington Avenue?
You must be talking about the ones specifically off Parkside and Reading Avenue.
Right, that's where there was just 4 units there, right?
Reading and Maple Avenue.
Right. Now, my
No,
question
Reading-
is, there were alleged, some of the people that live right across from those properties, they were alleging that they have gone there, right, and find, I mean, I've seen some of the leaf wood, work, and I never have found anything like that, but they were complaining that, saying that and you remember that conversation because they were from New York, they were having a few more.
No, they really.
All right, they ripped you off, I mean, real nice. And they were claiming that some of the material, being used and stuff like that, they were really animated about that. He talked to them for about an hour or so. That the material being used, that is, were not accurate, not according to the practice.
I know nothing about that.
Okay, all right.
All I can tell you is that since Michael Fink and Leewood have been here, they have done very good work. Willow Green, North Willow Green, South Street, Phillips Street. They've done some privately purchased properties in Villa Park. And this is actually part and parcel of the other matter that I just asked you about. And by the way, the additional properties are on Boone. And Michael is acquiring properties, vacant land in parts of the town where there hasn't been a whole lot of development and building houses. We'd be very satisfied. As far as I know, when there are always issues, whether it's a new house or a rehab house. There is no house, whether it's here, West Windsor, or Manalapan, that is ever perfect. And when issues arise, typically Michael will take care of the issues. Sometimes he's responsible for them. Sometimes he's not responsible for them. Sometimes the buyer is responsible for creating the problem. So those things get worked out. We've been very happy with the work that we've done.
I'm just calling your attention on that only because if we, anytime, there's money being allocated, so people will ask questions, and you just want to make sure, that, for 2 years, 3 years, I'm not saying that I'm going to run again, but in case I do, those are questions that they will ask again, and 3 years, they go quiet.
Yeah, and I would need to know the specifics of the complaint that someone is providing. I would want to know the name, the address, and the specific nature of the problem.
No, and I'm sure the folk can tell you.
I think what Mr. Segura is talking about is 4 sites that were infill on Reading Avenue, specifically. Some of the neighbors were questioning the quality of the workmanship because I believe the foundation dug up and put down relatively in a short period of time, and then the houses were prefab and brought in and put together, and they were questioning the craftsmanship and the sturdiness of the house.
On what basis?
No, just materials and was it solid? I think they were citizens that were exercising their opinion. Who would buy a house over here? And it was a lot that had been empty for a while. I mean, it's not necessarily what you want to quote. They were just making comments as to what they believed, how it was the quickness of how quick the house was.
Okay. It doesn't sound to me like it was a problem.
Well, the property was sold.
Right.
Okay. 5, you are, Madam Clerk. 5, you are.
5 you are, resolution authorizing an agreement to the contract which was awarded through a fair and open process in accordance with NJSA 1944A/2025 except the appeal law of Trenton, New Jersey to provide professional legal services, civil rights, and other special rights litigation in an amount not to exceed $50,000. 5B, bond ordinance providing for certain improvements to the water system owned by the city of Trenton and the county of Mercer, New Jersey, appropriating $4,500,000, therefore authorizing the issuance of $5,500,000 bonds and notes to the city county as part of the cost thereof. The second reading is scheduled for June 21st.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Please. Can I get an explanation where I know I'm reading the stuff and I saw that I just want to know the correlation between, some alleviation of, Valero taxes versus, levy with the real estate property and things like that. And also they talk about, the sewage or whatever, how, I just want to know the whole correlation in between how that can be all of them in one.
Sir, Mr. Councilman, I beg your pardon. You're speaking to me, I apologize. Yes, sir. You might have said a mouthful.
If you were not paying attention, then it's
I
your
do
fault.
apologize.
Do you mind to repeat that again?
Then we can talk privately, sir. I do apologize. I didn't know what you said to me. I do apologize. I hope it wasn't a long soliloquy.
It was a whole, though. I mean, a whole mouth, though, full of it, man. And I'm not repeating all of that again.
Was it? They're fine. All right.
Got promised you $100,000 gift.
I just want to know, where, our dollars and everything else, with the whole, what is the correlation, how everything comes together to benefit what we're doing right now, with $4.5 million. Huh? Well, I mean,
Mr. Councilman, are you speaking of the actual water system project or to the funding?
to the funding and to the system, because there's a whole explanation behind all of that, and I'd like to know how come together to keep my phone.
Let me take a stab at this particular.
I'm sorry, man, to do that to you, my brother.
Typically, the VA, I think, would probably be more appropriate to address this because it's on the financing side of the water utility. I believe this particular resolution or ordinance may speak to how bonds are put out against the work that we do for our overall system to improve the overall infrastructure of the water operating system. I believe, and I haven't read this ordinance, speaks to how the bond prepares the paveway, if you will, to allow the money to be forced to make that stuff happen. But now the VA's back, I'm going to see if I'm in the right direction and let her finish your statement that I wasn't listening to. Beg my forgiveness.
Oh, now you're going to get back on me, right?
No, I knew it was finance. I wasn't with you on that one. Okay, then I saw you looking at me.
It's like about 5 bills, brief explanation.
Yes, this is an ordinance which basically enables us to issue bonds in the amount of $5,500,000. It's part of the bond issuance that you've been addressing in prior resolutions and ordinances on this docket, and this is the water piece.
Okay, Tim, what kind of correlation does that have, within, property taxes, and also, some of the, taxable, for real property, and also, whatever you call the Valero, or Valero taxes or something like that.
Ad valorem taxes?
Yeah, valorem, right.
Okay, the water piece does not directly relate to taxation, because the water utility is a separate fund. It's what's called self-liquidating, and it generates revenues and it creates expenses and hopefully a surplus with which to pay other costs later on, or to transfer over to the city as a source of revenue. With regard to debt service is an item of expenditure. So whether it's generated by notes, interest on notes or principal on notes, or on bonds, either bond principal or bond interest, all of those are items of expenditure in the city budget, in the water utility budget. Basically what you're doing is you're amortizing the cost of certain improvements that have a useful life of 5 years or more over a period of time, so that you don't have to expend the full cost of any large improvement generally, or anything with a useful life of 5 years or more, over time.
Well, that's why I asked for, you were not in here, that's why I asked for the correlation of how they all come together.
Yes.
And now I understand.
Okay.
I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Five WL, ordinance authorizing the lease between the city of Trenton and Willie M. Young to lease the vacant city-owned property regarding the 166-168 State Street, second reading of June 24th, 2007. And addendum to the document? 5XR, resolution authorizing the settlement of an administrative law case in the matter of Vito
Camisa.
in Greater the City of Trenton, docket number PSZ 6975-06 in the amount of $2,000. YR is being withdrawn. Further review. 5ZR, a resolution amending resolution number 07-60, authorizing an increase in the regional contribution agreement fund committed to Leewood CP North LLC from $150,000 to $300,900 for New Street redevelopment housing project.
Mr. President. Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gonzalez. Yes, sir. An increase in funds from what? Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
Why an increase, sir?
We always expected that we would need to provide for gap financing of about $300,000. And we had thought we were going to split it up between 150 from this source and 150 or so from another source. And then we ultimately decided to just have it all from one source and use those other funds for another project. So it's not an unexpected increase in the price of the project. It's just a determination as to a decision as to which funds to use for this project. In a sense, it simplifies reporting because you have reporting based on one source as opposed to multiple sources, and it'll simplify it with another project. And it's 18 two-family units, owner-occupied for one unit.
Yeah, I'm here for that. Madam Clerk, yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
5ZR, 5AAR. Resolution authorizing an agreement with Seaman, Rogers, Andel, Brody, and Ecker regarding legal services for the City of Trenton's public safety radio reconfiguration project.
Right, Ms. Higgins.
Explanation, please.
Yes, the Sprint Nextel Corporation, actually Nextel when it started out, was authorized or allowed by the Federal Communications Commission to reconfigure their rebanding on some of the frequencies that they were on in order to consolidate them off of public safety bandwidth. Part of the process involves legal determination of the contract and the agreement. The cost for the legal services and other services of this project are being paid for by Sprint Nextel. So the city's not bearing any cost, but it's just the process that we're going through to remove ourselves from some of the bandwidth that public safety is on and to get other frequencies.
Thank you very much. At the end of it.
No.
That's the way it was. Five, ABR resolution authorizing the application for a 2007 enhanced 911 grant in the amount of $100,000 from the state of New Jersey Office of Emergency Telecommunications. Five, HCR resolution authorizing transfers to be made by the Director of Finance for the fiscal year 2007 appropriations. 5, ADR resolution amending resolution number 07-195 that awarded a contract to Agate Construction Company, Inc. of Ocean View, New Jersey for the furnishing and delivery of all labor, materials, and equipment, concrete removal, and bank stabilization at the Crescent Wire site for the Department of Housing and Economic Development, Division of Economic Development. 5AER resolution amending resolution number 07-231 that awarded a contract to SunGuard, the Inc. Oxy Public Safety Solutions, High Point, North Carolina, for the furnishing and delivery of an integrated public safety system for the Department of Administration, Division of Communications. 5A, FR, resolution honoring Beverly Jones. 5AGR, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to accept a petroleum assessment grant from the United States Environmental Protection Agency in the amount of $200,000.
Did you roll call? I'm sorry, go ahead, yes, ma'am.
I got it. Give you one. Resolution to Beverly Jones was on the docket and I was seeing it with
If you can roll call that one, please. Resolution honoring.
AHR, resolution authorizing the City of Trenton to accept a grant award in the amount of $1,769,412 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development under the 2006 Homeless Continuum of Care Program.
And can we get an explanation on how we're going to spend that money?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Kroll.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
This award is the award annual application that the city makes along with the county to HUD for homeless funding. In addition to renewal of 4 projects that we currently have throughout the county, this new funding will allow us to do an additional, I think, 32 beds for homeless.
No, what happened? We contract?
Yes.
Is that like with EPI and other?
Yes, Esther Street,
Esther Street, okay.
Catholic Charities, Home Run, Trenton.
And that will last us for a year? Any other questions, Tom?
Well, yeah, I just wanted, for the previous resolution that you had, but I know that.
Are you going back to the
No,
other
no,
one?
no, no, no. I think that
Are you going back to the other one, Mr.
you're going to address it with her, right, Madam Chief?
Or she can address it to you, but if you,
Well,
if you have any questions, but other than that,
I have, no, yeah, I have asked for a written explanation on how the services are, rendered, and I'd like to see a breakdown of how this is done.
Are you referring to 500?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This is an $80,000 grant that was previously approved by council that we received from the county of Mercer to provide services to youth at risk. 3 agencies were selected, as you see on the resolution. The services that they provide are individualized to each child that comes through that program. They include GED, job training skills, as well as looking at other training opportunities that particular youth might be interested in.
Yes.
And there's a regular reporting system that each agency has to give back to us, and that's handled through the MOED office.
And that's what I'm looking for, to see at the end of the day, the end result of those individuals.
Well, this is part of the acronym for the program. It's called the STEP program, and we can review.
Right. So I like to, in the future, I like to see something like that. And also, Mrs. Cool, not to fill a whole, $50,000, but also other agencies that we do provide, facilitate some type of matching funds, and we give money to find out, how those monies are being used, for the city, especially when it comes to servicing the people. Okay? That's it, thank you.
Cool. Madam President,
5AIO, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 12 of the Code of the City of Trenton to include a division of communications within the Trenton Police Department. Second reading is scheduled for July 2020.
explanation on that, please? For the record?
this is, Mr. President, an ordinance to create within the police department the division of communications, which actually currently sits in the Department of Administration.
What's the rationale for, this transfer?
Well, as you know, this was, the mayor made this decision based on a few factors, one of which being police being the biggest user of communications unit, if you will, and a lot of the activities of communication being so closely linked and related to what police efforts are, not within the camera systems, as well as being the biggest user of the 911 system.
With regard to the CAD system, officers, that's still be civilian?
The comm unit will still be civilianized. It will be, the ultimate overseer will be the police director.
Okay, so the report instruction now goes to the police director?
Yes, yes. But the CAD RMS system is still underway.
Is there any finance, any expenditures associated with the,
It's primarily an administrative move. The people that are working there are still the people that were working there will still be the people that are working there.
any questions on that? Yes. Okay. You have 5 video. I think you have 5 video. Would you see it? You doing that? No, it's missing. I'm just looking for it.
Which one, sir?
5 video. No, sir. You looking at it?
Okay, 5AJR, resolution authorizing settlement of the civil suit in the tax court in the matter of City of Trenton versus Township of Warren, docket number 00772-2000.
resolution supporting emergency management services leave, designate the week of May 20th, 2007 as emergency medical services week. Okay, thank you. And then the next one is a resolution supporting a criminal investigation of the Trenton Public Schools.
Is that not what we
It
got?
was already done.
And I have a copy of that as well.
Wait a minute.
I gave you the emergency management one.
No, this is council.
But these two resolutions, this one for Beverly Jones and stuff like that, I was not aware of this resolution. I was not aware of that resolution either. So where are they coming from?
We got to get copies of that, Mr. President.
I just asked for roll call. I didn't see them in my package either when I was reading. But these are part of the addendum, so it may not have just been completely. Well, not everything hit the addendum.
So thank you, you see them.
Mr. President, just so that you're aware, those items did not come through the administration.
Yes, yes. Well aware of it. Thank you, Chief. Just questions with regards to the resolutions that we read that are not a part of the resolution.
No, I have a packet in front of me. I put my packet in there. Just put that in. Thank you. Somebody else need a copy?
It was just a copy of which one, the schools one? No. A roll call on, for me, for Beverly Jones.
So we have discussion on that resolution.
You certainly may, Mr. Malone and Mr. Costa are the sponsors of it, so, you may want to,
Oh, we don't,
well, I mean, we're still in business, isn't it?
well, I have a lot of questions about this resolution. First of all, I think it is ill timed. I think there's a lot of speculation in it, and I just wonder how did you come before this? How did you come before this? And why was our package for our review?
That I don't know. Well,
I know I'm fine. It's formally late, it should have time to do things.
Okay, let's take, all right. Let's take the first whereas. Mrs. Jones has testified to uncover the improprieties of the Trenton Public Schools risking her job security. Fact or you feel like that? Have you ever factored in you risk your job security?
well, again, are you addressing me or?
You co-signed it. You're co-signing. Either one of you should be able to talk about this.
Jim, a mess.
Let's speak up, Jim.
Let the actions speak. That's the way I feel.
I'm sorry?
The actions that have been taken speak for themselves.
She was brought on tenure charges by the very close that she was reporting and committing fraud, discrimination, and the timing.
But do you know what her junior charges were? Do you know what she was being charged with?
Yes.
And so you think she did, so I'm not, this is highly speculative. That's my opinion of that particular one. Then you go down and say, third whereas, and let me just preface this by saying this. Beverly Jones did do an honorable thing. It is wonderful that she uncovered what she did in the bigger picture corner. And there should be some way that this really shows her our appreciation for her due diligence. It's just that this particular resolution, how it is written and how it's processed, just has me as a suspect of the whole thing. Okay? Yeah. On the third, whereas, that Beverly Jones has uncovered violations that would have persisted for many years. How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that? We have a new superintendent and new administration. How do you know that he wasn't going to do a quality check? How do you know with the new members that would have been uncovered? They would have been audited and reviewed.
The resolution was based upon our feelings by you calling for roll call. It's your right to either vote yes or vote no on that resolution.
This is the city document.
Correct.
And so there's no reason why you can't speak to what it is. I'm not just doing a roll call that I don't like it. I'm just saying there's some things here that I don't think supposed to for this to
you justify everything out there.
Are you asking the city employee or district employee?
I'm asking period, just period. This is just a plain question. How do you know that this would have persisted for many years?
Well,
Considering other things that have happened within the district and have been going on for years and years, I mean, you know.
Did you gut feel? Did you gut? So this is a gut resolution.
no, I don't think so. I think crime occurs until it stops. If people cheat, they're going to cheat until they're caught. I think it would have persisted. I should not get screaming about it.
But it's not based on, so these are just your feelings. These are like, these are your
These are deductive reasoning.
deductive reasoning. Okay. Now the bottom, and then you go on to make a personnel recommendation in the last. Therefore, when you recommend that the Trenton Public Schools drop all current senior charges against this fine and honorable individual. Drop in school? How do you know? Don't get me wrong, I just don't understand this.
You have evidence?
I just don't understand. You have evidence that she is?
I've met with her. I've talked to her. I've taken a look at her work over the last 2 years and the persecution that she went through to bring this to light. I have no hesitation to say without her on the forefront of this would have been glossed over completely.
What do you base your recommendation on that her tenure charges be dropped? You don't think she's
I think it's persecution. Plain and simple. I think they're trying to get her to be quiet.
I just simply say when we have resolutions, they should be as fact-based as we possibly can be. I understand your feelings. I understand some people's feelings too, but I would never pen a resolution like this. It is just not fact-based enough to be a city document. It just is. It's almost like if you want to do a letter of thanks or gratitude, perhaps, but a resolution, you know, that's what my objections are to it.
Mr. President, I just wanted to point out the fact that I too will agree with the ordeal that this woman has gone through. I understand that she was at one point in time, decorated as, teacher of the year, things like that. I am on her side. I am on her corner. However, we just formulated. We have a five. So that's what I'm not to say. All right, I just want to know. That's okay. I know how you feel. Now, my point is that I think that this lady, for what I hear, for what I see, and the way that she has worked, she's been treated unfair, and maybe some of those findings, are true to the point that she's been persecuted or whatever, what have you. But my thing is that we just have formed a committee to investigate, and I think that part of our investigation is to get to the bottom of what has transpired, with our students and in the school system right now. I think that we should have some trustworthy facts in what we're going to do, and that at the end of this investigation, this body right here is credible enough to come up with the findings, because I'm one to say publicly that if this guy Lupton don't come up with some real resolution and do what he has to do, there's going to be some furniture moving around in the city of Trenton. There's no question about it. But let's really respect each other whenever we're going to come up with something like this. This is not 2 or 3, one body. This is 7 people that has to work together. And all of these folks that you see here across this room, they're trusting that at the end of the day, it's only 5? No, it doesn't matter. I'm talking in general.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, all of these folks that are here, they trust that we will do the due diligence to actually deliver the best that we can every day as a team effort.
Where's your
Not just 2 or 3 people. So this resolution should have been, talk about it, but we didn't know about it until now. Something like that should be in our pocket, you know, so that we know. And maybe, you know, that little phone call, you know, can happen and talk about this.
So wrote it down. Jesus.
You know, because I do it myself. So I think that I agree with some of the statement that Cordelia says. I agree with the founders. I agree, you know, with some of the stuff. But I think that it should be, you know, among all of us, not just and at the end of the day also, you know, Councilman, we should have also, if you're going to do the resolution, it was okay. Now, if we didn't deliver, you know, once, you know, the thing was done, and you thought that everything was found incorrect, and still, you know, we didn't get to the bottom of it, then the resolution would be just perfect too.
Well, I guess, how I respond, we, council investigations and determine that it's not Beverly Jones, it's not her temperature.
Oh, no, sir, it is that, but you know what, to me, anything that has to do, because that's why we deliver, you know, this $21 million out of here. Anything that has to do with our Board of Education, at the end of the day, if I am going to continue serving in that school estimate, everything has to be clear for me, otherwise, you know, I'll pull out of there, because I'm not going to be responsible for anything that is not clear to me, especially when it comes to the future of these kids. That's where I'm coming from. That's the only reason why I signed on that thing for the school estimate, was because I'm hoping that the kids doesn't have to suffer, because I'm going to hold this money hostage. But at the end of the day, I am holding Mr. Lofton and his administration responsible for what's going to be delivered at the end of the day, sir. So for me, you know, the findings of anything that was being adjusted, done, we are responsible for the whole thing. Forget about the chairman. It's about the whole school district that we're talking about at the end of the day, when everything is said and done. That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. And you know what? There's something better yet than just 5 people here. There's something called the Attorney General's office. They can really deliver those facts. And everybody that was done and do, it will serve them right. So that's why this resolution should have been done according to what we believe that's going to happen. And I would agree 100% with you and Gina. But it has to be a respectable fact among city council members here. Because I respect everyone. At the end of the day, we might talk about a whole bunch of different situations and not agree in some of the stuff, but at the end of the day, I respect every single member of my colleagues here in the body. That's all, Mr. President.
Councilman, what's going on?
Yes, sir. I appreciate the perspective and opinions. And we certainly urge to vote, vote your confidence on this. And, if it doesn't pass, you think there's a better terminology to use, I welcome you to, or whomever, to present one to us that you think is more appropriate in verdict.
I don't want to go back and forth, but all I'm saying is that it is a good thing. I don't disagree with you that it's not. Your heart is in the right place, Jimmy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just being able to trust that, the thing is going to be done. And then if it wasn't going to be done, I'm 100% with you. Because it's not just about this resolution. It's about the whole thing that we are responsible for. All these folks here, of course, they voted us in for us to represent them in the best shape way thing that we know how. That's all.
Okay, any other?
Only Mr. Compton offered to look this thing over. I would ask that you withdraw, so we have the chance to come together.
Oh, I think I was making a point that folks are welcome to vote against it and put forward one of their things better in terminology.
Very good. Roll call, please.
That's all roll call. Any other business? If at this point in time we want to make a motion that we adjourn.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
I do have an item.
Well, I was going to lower that in the public session. Outside, so that we stay on time.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing out there.
Well, it'll be a little more difficult, I think.
Fine.
Thank you, I appreciate it. special counsel and I have had running dialogue this week about power of council. And I think it might be helpful to have some of that discussion here in public. An ordinance that I wanted to put forward, regarding the amending part of the city code with regard to vehicle usage.
Jim, let me ask you a question. I know again, in the interest of time, we can do this on Tuesday. We can just do part of our workshop on Tuesday, where we can talk about it in depth, because if we get into a long and drawn conversation about it, we've already mentioned my 5:30 deadline to start the meeting, but this way we get the opportunity to look at it, and Madam Secretary, you know this is an item for Tuesday when we come back. Well, just an interest of time, because you're not bringing this forth now, you're asking us to take a look at this, I assume. And if I'm not wrong.
Well, yeah, I guess I really have some public dialogue with the law department about some statutes.
What is okay, I would say, is there a premise here? Is there something for me? Because you're only talking about what's highlighted here, right?
Part of the underline on page 2.
You want to read for the record?
An ordinance to amend chapter 2 of the expiration of the environmental ordinance of the city of Trenton to provide for a system of control and regulation over the assignment and use of city-owned motor vehicles. Chapter 2, A4. In particular, the business administrator shall have the duty to establish, subject to review and approval of the city council, a uniform system for the inventorying and accounting for the use of all motor vehicles owned, leased, or otherwise controlled by the city of Trenton, and which are assigned to or otherwise made available to officers and employees of the city of Trenton for transportation in connection with the business of the city of Trenton. Said rules and regulations shall provide for restrictions on the use of such vehicles so as to prohibit their use for personal business, not substantially related to public benefit, and shall provide for a system of accountability reasonably designed to ensure that public resources are not being misappropriated to personal benefit, and designed to provide for a fair method for obtaining reimbursement from the officer or employee whose personal use exceeded the reasonable public benefit derived from the operation of the public vehicle. That regulation shall also include a provision to regulate the terms, conditions, and extent to which city vehicles are permitted to be operated beyond the city limits, providing reasonable controls consistent with the public interest.
Now, as you read that, this sounds like a policy more than.
That's where we get to the debates.
Because all we've ever done, just to pass the record, is purchase vehicles. I mean, vehicle purchase requests to come to us. I guess obviously we just did the last one where I guess Colacelli and that issue, whether or not we assume that contract warranted the use of the car, the purchase of the new Maryville. Those issues that come before us with regards to policy. If you allow me one second, and I'm doing what I didn't want to do. But in fact, is there a policy governing the use of city-owned vehicles or everything?
Yes, there is a policy.
Is there, well, I think I guess the next question is Ms. Johnson, you ever believe that policy is not being followed, or is there something, I guess what I'm saying, what's precipitating this for the record?
I'd like to get a copy of the policy. I had complaints from residents that some city vehicles were found outside watering holes.
What'd you say?
Bars. Bars.
Other places, and perhaps that's individual infractions, but I'd like to see the policy.
Those are city-owned vehicles, or police, fire, well, every department has.
Yeah, it's got city of Trenton on it.
Okay.
It's not simply police or fire, it's other instances.
Outside, not within the function of.
You would assume not.
I don't know. I don't make no assumptions at this stage. That would be bad. Okay, we got a discussion a little bit further.
May I get a copy of the policy?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn in the chambers at this point in time will have city matters and public comments.
The rescue effort took place at 657 Washington Boulevard. Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to call up Keith Gary and Larry Gary, and also the other gentleman who gets please use the microphone. Just the microphone. Yeah, please state your name just for the record. Keith Word Jr. Keith last name Word W-O-R-T-H-E-N. Keith Word. Yes, sir. And yes, sir. And I'm hoping that brings welcome. Thank you, Mr. President. On Tuesday, May 22nd, 24th, thank you for the permission. On May 24th, Bernice and Keith and this young man, because of active bravery, provision and passion, are rescuing a mother and a child from a bloody door. It does me proud as a councilman of making sure the whole world present you this recognition, certificate of recognition for active bravery. Kevin and Bernice. And
Yes.
baby out of car. And that's why I start hearing yelling from the side of the house. It's two more females and another baby on the third floor. And they just climbing out the window with the edge. I said, wow, three long people, they was hanging by one arm, and she was over the baby. And my friend Henry, he was thinking so quick, he never got to knock it out. So he laughed out to the roots, and we just got him down. We got him down before the fire department. Incredible. God bless you. Your efforts go everywhere, I'm sure. And thank you for your quickness, your calm and rational, and your helping the city lives. That's what it's all about. God bless you.
5YR to be withdrawn from the docket. 5YR. Is there a second? Yes. 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 Yes, ma'am. Mr.
Make a motion to withdraw, resolution 5AFR,
Five AFR. Yes, sir. Well, you need that, please, sir? Yes.
It's, I intend and hope that this body will honor the fine work of Ms. Beverly Jones in her crusade over a number of years to make sure that the children of the city of Trenton are properly educated and accredited with courses that they should be given. Ms. Jones, I just want to say I'm wrong simply because we just don't have enough polish on it. We've got to add a bit more. Your fine work demands something fitting your person and what you've done. And this resolution will be presented again very soon. So that's why we're going to withdraw. First, I want to thank you for your work on behalf of the city of Trenton and the children. Thank you, sir.
Is there a second motion?
Yes. Yep. Yes. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. There are two motions on the first motion was to withdraw 5YR from the city's docket. We got a second to vote upon that motion. You did that. So you vote. I move that resolution 5AR to 5AJR be moved in unison with the exception of resolution 5HR and 5RR. 5AR and 5AJR be moved in unison with the exception of 5HR and 5RR. Just one second. Mr. Brown has made a motion to move in unison resolution 5AR through 5AJR with the exception of 5HR and 5RR. It will require a roll call vote. Is there a second? Second. Yes. 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 Statement. Yes, ma'am.
Moving into Yes. 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 I'm sorry. I want, yes, sir. Just want to, just retrieve 1 second on the filing chart. Okay. Filing chart, in terms of the explanation that I want to do, Mr. Michael, that is, I understand, actually, you know, the imminent urgency problem, that has been happening, not just recently, but for many years at this establishment. And I understand the agency, regarding the law enforcement, that the only law enforcement is any control, you know, that happening over there at that establishment. However, though, I'd like to say that, you know, we have to be fair to the entire, you know, city of Trenton when it comes to basically, it doesn't matter what it is, this one instance, doesn't matter what kind of business, but we have to put accountable for life, everybody. So, I'd like to say that understanding, you know, Mr. Santiago's concern, administration, also this body here, but I'd like to also say that this should be also applied to any establishment that is in the city of Trenton that require this type of attention. Not just a problem with the that's my statement and my vote yes. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know. What did he say?
Believe it or not, this was moved by you. However, though, well, move it again. Second. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, Mr. President. Yes, sir. Director, welcome. I saw the director just, was it okay? Welcome.
And quick, if you're going to comment, quick comment back. All right, thank you. I'm very pleased to see that the communications department will be going into the police department. I do want to thank our business administrator for her efforts to address some of the concerns that have been brought up at council in regards to residents calling and having problems communicating with some of the dispatchers, and that's not all, but some. I hope that you will make it the first priority to address the matter being that these individuals are representatives of the city, individuals throughout the city are calling them in need, and that they be a little more courteous to some of the calls that they're receiving, and also respect some of the requests from the callers that they are answering. I would ask that you make that one of the top priorities as far as sensitivity of these individuals to our residents and those that may be calling dispatch. Thank you all.
I guess we're a little this comment. I do appreciate the fact that you are a record now I haven't seen in years numbers of complaints, people not really the right information to the general public. I asked them not there and carry on like they're okay. That's going to be very, that I haven't seen the attitude of the phone call and not about their attention. As you know, we do not say now also some of the office have said that they will not call anymore because the person who received the report saying, well, give the name and people don't get scared like that. So I believe that directly you will be obviously from respect, again, not just for the general public, but also going to make it much easier for people to know that and be more precise. So at the end of the day, thank you very much.
And we just talked to the work too. As we present to us in the workshop session, basically we would explain that we retaining this problem is the large percentage of the calls, and that you felt were coming upon your responsibility to have some control over communication division because of the fact that you impact on men and women and decisions and type of calls that would be made. I'm not is that the kind of course that you have with the communications, and you'll have a command officer over that, or they'll just report the record to you over in each you just for the record, you should name type of record.
Joseph Santiago.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. President. The intention right now is to maintain the civilian head of communications with a direct report to me as the police director. We're going to be looking at certain aspects of the operation. I think part of it is twofold. One, to establish more accountability and ease of operations with the dispatchers having the actual authority of the director. I had debated one a couple of years ago, but we still had that slight disconnect between the police officers and civilians there, so I think it's going to facilitate that. And then the other part of this too is, in a selfish way, I've been here 4 years, and most people naturally assume communications is under us anyway, and we used to entertain a lot of the complaints and commentary. One of the things we are going to do is explore quality control, such as monitoring the tapes, not only the dispatch, but the call tape, to ensure that our standards are met. And we're going to work slowly to integrate their operations into ours. And we're going to look at maybe having some police presence in there in terms of facilitating intelligence, monitoring the cameras, and those other things, and coordinating their operations.
Pretty much just add one, I'm sure my colleagues will share this. It's come to our attention on numerous times. This dawned upon me. Now that, in fact, we'll have this council as well, we'll have some oversight of communications division. Specifically, I know that there's numerous times to see citizens
consistent participation and assistance in terms of tips and or nothing calls to us. And I know we have those systems based on the dollars to identify exactly where the call comes from, who the call was made from, and the number, as well as obviously the complaint. You know, obviously one of the complaints that we get on numerous occasions are we also dispatch to a certain address and quote unquote the gentleman home or phone telephone. Bam, and what's the problem? And then, you know, they rectify the problem, they leave, and then there's retaliation or retribution, some type of action takes place, you know, whether it's property and or physical. I would ask, I would almost demand that when those types of calls come in, where citizens want to remain anonymous, that in fact that your officers or whoever can command any communication division at that time, as we're called, and that we respect that with regards to if we want citizen participation to be followed.
And I think one of the things we have to do when we got back to the council is that in a lot of circumstances we receive those kinds of complaints. And I think, as you know, from the community, a lot of it turns out to be anecdotal. When we ask the actual question, time, when it occurs specifically, you don't get it. And feeling just awful. So what I'd like to do is come out with something that maybe that we can go to different community groups saying, if you have an issue where you were treated or you think you were treated, or not only by the police officers but the dispatchers, we like some specificity, what date and time, so we can research it. Again, we're going to focus on quality control and probably have an officer from internal affairs, monitor the case, so we have, you know, not only waiting for a complaint, but for us to monitor regularly dispatch cases and telephone cases to find out. And I think part of that will hopefully create the atmosphere that they feel we're always listening, you know, in all circumstances, support yourselves with our standards of treating people earnestly and providing the right information. So I think it's going to be a little bit of both. One, the community outreach to get information from the community that's specific so we can act on it if there is a complaint. And the other is that we're going to be proactive in monitoring the case and monitoring the performance of the dispatch.
Let me ask a question. I know with regards to the police division, but we're going to be fire liaison there as well with regards to the call. I know I think the Senate now set up with regards to some out there that when a fire call comes in and how that goes out in terms of oversight.
In terms of actual operations, nothing's going to change. You know, right now, you know, the 911 call takers accept both police and fire calls, and the fire calls will dispatch the fire. That's not going to change. Again, there will be interactions with fire. As a matter of fact, we just had a meeting today on the new CAD system, the new police record management fire systems, and how we work hard in integrating those things. So I would expect that the coordination between the various agencies will certainly can improve the technology within that. And we're going to work to make sure that the fire department still controls their operations, but it still does it in the general umbrella communication.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. It's not a little too much to communications. If I'm able to record, we have made 20, May 26 was nationally recognized as Emergency Medical Services Week. And I want to take the opportunity because oftentimes many women go unrecognized with their efforts by saving lives, sometimes being the first on the scene, and really saving lives right on the spot. So it's my hope that next year we can do some type of better recognition of their existence in the city of Trenton, particularly as tenants in Trenton Emergency Medical Services, based on the corner of Southern and Pinch. Is there a second? Thank you. Yes. 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 Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Been doing business, saying, right now. So, it's in the business. Good portion of the meeting, June, is for the public, anyone wishing to address the public, just the council, please make use of it at this time. Show of hands, please come to the podium, so that you know your address for the record. Please round the work from my right to my left, to your left to my right. I'm stretching my card, please locate this, sir. Please state your name.
You give it them good. I hope you give it them good.
Please state your name and address for the record. All located on Cornwall Avenue. The Los Angeles City, Trenton. Yes, sir. What's being presented before council is a list of volunteers that I have recruited over the past 6 weeks for boards and commissions that serve the city. I did want to give council a copy. Some of the volunteers have included resumes, some of them have included just a brief bio. From this means I have recommended that all the volunteers go to the city and website and fill out an application. And then if they need assistance going through the process, I would be more than happy to assist them with that. What I just wanted to highlight is within 6 weeks, I have come up with 6 volunteers. I'm one person who has very limited outreach. I feel that there are a great many people with many talents in the city who would really be very interested in volunteering. And I would urge the administration as well as council to consider some way to reach the citizens of the city to let them know what the needs are and how they can serve. With the responses I've found, I really feel that there are people out there who don't know how they can serve the city. And, other than my reaching out to the people that I know in the neighborhoods that I'm familiar with, I just feel that there could be a better way to make people aware of what these needs are. Okay? All these people that are on my list that are burning desire to serve, I've recruited 3 people for the library board, 1 individual for the school board, 1 individual for the landmarks commission, and 1 for the zoning board. On the cover page, I have their names, the district they live on, and what their current occupation is. Okay? That's it. We're here to say thank you to those boards. The council has oversight of it. I will assure you they will notify the majority of the administration there. Mr. Wilson does have his resume in here so that other than an application, all of his information is here. Okay? Thank you, sir. Yes, anyone else want to hear it? Anyone else want to hear it? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Blake, and then we'll just work with that. Come on over. Yes, ma'am. Appreciate your managers for the record, please. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I want to say first of all, and I don't need to comment on this, I know that there are people here that wish I would come or I would put my mouth shut. But as long as I live in this city, vote and pay taxes, I will give thanks, I will complain, and I will ask questions.
That's right.
Of this administration, this council.
Mr. President, I know you started with you didn't comment, but what people are you specifically talking about? I don't have to name names. I do not have to name names, okay, and I won't. But it doesn't matter because I will be here. And I want everybody to know that I'm going to be here. I wanted to thank Mr. Allen for, there was a big thing in the street from where it was repaired on MLK Boulevard. People were going around this area to keep from bottoming out. That's how deep it was. And I appreciate the immediately that I told them about it was taken care of. And because it could have been a very bad thing. I know it's not the best, and I explained that to him. He explained to me that it was just, it'll be taken care of. I always appreciate and I try to give thanks for the things that I have come through or gone to someone about, and it has been taken care of. And I really appreciate that, and I'm sure that those citizens do. But there's just not enough to come in and give the thanks or give the complaints that is necessary. And it's not just anybody's fault. It's just that everybody needs to have, or this city administration, these directors, they need eyes and ears out here. They can't see it all. They can't do it all without input from the residents of this city. So I intend to do that. The one concern that I have, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but May has typically been considered senior month. And usually, since I've been here, they would always kick off here at City Hall in the atrium. That did not happen this year. On the 11th, there was supposed to be a resolution to the seniors, and it was supposed to be held at Reading. It did not happen this year. They had the senior feast at the Lipinski Center a couple Fridays ago, and I did not see any council folks there, and I know you didn't know about it. I didn't see any of the city people that are over senior services or care about us. I didn't see any of them there, and I was there. And I just wonder what is going on. You know, the seniors are the voters. And the seniors are the ones that put people in office. And this is the young people because it doesn't matter to them. It's the seniors. And if people don't show an interest in what you're doing and the things that they care about, then I don't know what the answer is. Because it has to come from our administrators. It has to come from our elected officials. Now, I know that you don't always find out about things, and this is not pride. The communication is the pits, and it needs to improve. Because those seniors are your constituents, and they would like to see you when you're doing something special. As far as I know, Reading is the only one that had an open house. It was on the calendar for all centers, and they usually, every year, they each had their own event, and all the centers were invited. This year, as far as I know, it didn't happen. But Reading did have one, and there were council folks there because I invited them. Unfortunately, everybody didn't get invited because there was no meeting for me to announce it so that you could come out. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I actually have a question for Director School, and I realize you just will have been in, and I apologize. But normally each year, as Jackie stated, there is a calendar of events for our Senior on the Move month. My question is what happened this year? And we're also informed all past years we have been at least, and this year we have. Yeah.
What record?
What record?
Carol Lewis, Local Record Health and Services.
Yes, ma'am.
It was my understanding that the calendar is as one now. And I apologize if you hadn't done it. We had plans of proclamation, recognition of seniors for the month of May. The date we had selected, the mayor was available because it was away. The Lipinski event
assistance program to run for seniors and various centers, including the one within my ward, are very excited when that month comes. This year, unfortunately, I will say even from speaking with the seniors in my center, that they didn't feel they got the recognition that they received in past years. In addition, while I have you up here, there's several items also I'd just like to touch base on. I'm sure we all recognize the importance of our seniors in our city, and we always thank them for the contributions they have made, and there's no doubt that we wouldn't be where we're at today as a city if it weren't for our senior citizens. Several requests that I've made in the past I would like a future update on. One I know you're going to print on, but I've just recently seen the Marshall Dimes go into the same program. Hamilton and Lawrence have the same program, and that was the cell phone giveaway for our seniors. Again, Trenton is behind the ball on what other municipalities is doing, and that bothers me. Another recommendation I made over 8 months ago, and when I walked through the basement of City Hall, I was supposed to be sitting there, is utilizing some of our old computers and placing them in our senior centers to give the seniors the ability to, one, either educate themselves with computers, two, have access to the internet rather than seeing them collect dust, the clearing of their memory and utilizing them as PCs in our senior centers would be very beneficial. And the other item that is probably as equally long of a request was the bookmobile for seniors, petitioning the library board to have some type of service for our senior citizens at our centers and those shut-ins. That would basically, if we get behind that, and your department gets behind that and requesting some type of service from our libraries to our senior centers, I'm sure they will move much quicker in our requests. They are 3 items that I have been waiting very patiently on implementation of, and haven't received any word on any of them. And I know that your department does, try their best to assist our senior population in the city. These are things that I think will also enhance the assistance that we are ready to give them, and I think it's worthy of giving them this assistance.
Okay, let me first respond to the cell phone. As you know, when we attempted to do the cell phone giveaway, the problem or concern was where the call would actually go. When the senior made a call to 911, it would not go directly to the local police dispatch. It could go anywhere. It could go to state police. So that was one thing. But we will put that into effect. Now, the other 2 requests, the computers from the basement, I personally never knew of that request. We had a request of a donation that fell through that was going to be given to us from downtown, but for some particular reason that was pulled out. But I've never heard anything about computers being stored in the basement that could be utilized in the community.
The discussion was with our business administrator on that at a council meeting, and she said that she was going to look into that.
I can follow up on that. And also the bookmobile for seniors, I have not with that as well, but we can look into that.
That was also a recommendation made at council on that.
That's it.
Mr. Perry, proposed by the young lady, proposed by Just state your name and address for the record. Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
I can share the reference to the 2 gentlemen and the young lady that was up here concerning fire. We have issues, several of them in the city that I spoke about several times this year, last year and this year, that we have several that need to be updated the record in reference to apartment complexes with just one no back, no side, only thing out of the windows. And I gave the neighbor, for instance, like city side apartment, for one. I was shocked when I went through there, because I was at this referendum going around and thinking I'm getting full support. We need to address these issues. And also, I want to thank the police department for their expedition handling. I have called many times on throughout all wards and across the state also. And the response has been kind of overwhelming. They respond immediately whenever I call. I don't care who knows my name, whatever. But as long as the services are being performed and the direction, I say, thank God in the city, because I don't know what I get all the time. But your staff and everyone is really right on the run. They really take interest in what is going on in the neighborhood. And also, the street cleaning. Now, the street department has done a wonderful job. I have called personally. We have wild vegetation and abandoned lots. And thank you, Dr. Adams, who's come around there and told me I was going to put down a big stump tree. But he told me, we don't do that. But they went down. And 609 Mountain Avenue. Now we got this wild vegetation coming up. And plus, alongside the warehouse, we got these trees running all down the West Avenue, starting from New York to the West, but all very all over the street. My friends out the street, I was wearing high boots in some of these areas. And this is not it. The Catholic city, and we are also a host and a host. Please let people come to these streets and these overgrown trees. Something doesn't have to be done. Because the God forbid a hurricane comes. They wouldn't listen to me in 2 or 3 when they had a light down on Home Avenue. 2 weeks before me, I was speaking about the same subject. And every time you make a mistake, you read it in overgrown trees. There's a whole tree right outside my house. And thank goodness that Dr. Pucciari and his staff will meet with me in the morning. I said, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I don't care. But I do want to see the citizens and the public to be safe. We want to make it safe again. We want businesses to continue to come. Because we all benefit in some form. One way or the other. We also need to put up dog signs on Ronald Avenue and High Park, Pulaski Avenue, everyone Avenue, Hillside Avenue, New York Avenue. These people claim to think this one with a big old pool of high come by now and say, well, he's breaking that thing. And I just know it. I couldn't listen to Brian and people on me. I was going to say it. I'm going to say no. I've been around all my life, and no one has ever heard me use a family medicine. I'm very business-like and very competitive. I'm not going to say that myself. But we need to put more signs about clean up everywhere. And also, the rest of that between New York Avenue and Sylvester Avenue and Bronson Avenue are high-grade streets. I got out there last day, and I'm on board with about 1,700 vehicles on the street. Out of 1,700 vehicles, 7 were 18-wheelers that are prohibited on that particular street. And my house is just deteriorated so bad, I want to start back and fix it again. Here I go again, hit the back, hit the car, here I go again. Something must be done to curb that. And like I said, in any other areas, like I said, I've been around the township, they have a strict enforcement. And what I did was thank goodness that the Honorable Mr. Gore came around and also Mr. Jackson. And I just pointed out that Hillside Avenue, if they want to dump the light, that's what they're doing. When they come off Old Avenue, the freeway, nearby, they don't want to put up that light. What they do is, you don't have anything on that street that I do. So they take a shortcut and come all the way down. And when they come, I'm in my bed, somebody like me in that bed, my bed starts shaking. And my bed starts laughing. Oh boy, this is totally unacceptable. And I can show you the picture before and after. So somebody will do something about that. I would be very happy. I'll put a big old social media out there, y'all come on around and just have shoes and whatever.
Shoes. you old man, all right?
Yes, sorry.
I just had a concern about the homes that didn't have a back exit, these side homes in particular, and I didn't understand as well how it worked with the speciality. Like, he told me that it was, there was a state construction code didn't speak to having a back to it. And so I'm wondering how the speciality can further explain that to Ms. Lee.
Yes, sir. The project in question is the city side units. When they were developed, they were two unit buildings. At the time, the local building code that was in effect at that time allowed for one main entry. As I explained to city council at the time the project was developed, of course some of you were not on council at that time, and I also did speak to Ms. Perry about it. The building code calls for them to upgrade the buildings with other types of fire protections. For instance, the two units you have, one on the first floor, one on the second floor. A 1-hour fire rating ceiling is installed between the units. The stairways were closed, the main stairway was closed with a 1-hour fire rating with fire doors at the top and the bottom. All of the HVAC, which would be the forced air systems running through the building, have fire dampers where the fire separations are penetrated. And the window openings in the bedroom were a little larger to allow for movement of a rescue out of the building. At the time that the plan was submitted, we also talked to the Department of Community Affairs and Construction Code element about that, and we were assured that we were moving in the right direction prior to approval with allowing one main entry. The other buildings that they have that are 3 units, if you see them around town, they have fire escapes because they are 3 units, they are 3 stories. And at the time, our city ordinance required that multiple dwellings must have a fire escape. So that's why we have that condition. Those units were constructed in accordance with the standards that were in place at the time. And quite frankly, the new standards coming out, if someone wanted to come in and build something similar to that, they could. It would be the intent of the code. We cannot change our ordinances because we did investigate at the time and pass a more stricter code. We're not allowed to do that under the city statutes. When the Uniform Construction Code was adopted here in New Jersey, that was definitely a section that prohibited us from doing anything more stringent than the state codes. But we did investigate very thoroughly before we issued any construction permits to make sure that we were moving in the right direction at the time that they were constructed. Those were constructed, I might say, early to mid-80s. We did about 100 and something units. About 1/3 of them are multiple dwelling units, and the rest are 2-family units, and they're sprinkled and scattered in rows around the city. And another point that we did also, where there are open loft areas between the buildings, there are the firewall, there's a 2-hour firewall between the units, extends up to the other side of the roof deck. So at the time, we met the latest fire separation requirements. They have automatic fire alarm systems throughout all the buildings, which are not mandatory now. So at that time, we had all the latest standards that were in place for construction.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, sir. The residents carrying out speeding. I've got 2 neighborhoods that work on speed hump petitions. That speed hump placed in there, and it's going well. We'd like to petition on it. Yes, ma'am. Followed by Ms. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask you to get sure that. Say that again. Your name, please. No longer. Yes, ma'am. You take your time and so you mind. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So they get 75, but there are a lot of people that live in those homes that have cars. And on the weekend of the 27th of May, one guy speeding, hit 5 cars. Some people are coming from out of state, they feel they either live in a home. It's not reason for them to be hit, and it's actually an insurance. This is not the first time. Everybody drives by there because maybe it's trying, and they're crazy. Speeding through, kids that stay outside, so my request is that they do that speed bump, but not exaggerate one, big one, it will be a small, about the speed in the ambulance, or more signs for the we have one that right now, in front of 642 Mountain, it's blocked by the tree, so they can come down and trim the trees, they can put them in, trim them, because people walk around and pull the house. You know, if you mean my father, then he can't touch you because it's not to take everything. So I can come down and put them in, trim it, come every year, summer, trim it down, people walking by. You have the kids that run in the street, so that the speed bumps, not that they should in play. More speed and be found. If you don't see them, you see when people go higher than the speed. And you're just flying by. Thank God that day they were looking on that day. The 4,000 cars and you heard that God didn't happen to them, but we should be seeing what's about to come.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
But if anything, if the only signatures, they also need to be, in the street, not the speaking time, at least those, have some out to checking out and catching those speeding time. Because we do have kids out there, sometimes coming, they want to need help. And trust me, these kids do not even do these other logical places. And the other thing is that the critical question in the newspaper, because these people are driving by. And that's a shame, because they don't take it in the paper. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Mr. Walters.
Mr. President, if I may, I commend you on also obtaining that petition, and I now commend the staff board for joining the efforts of the East Board, which has approximately over 900 signatures for the traffic calming device of the speed humps to be installed on various streets throughout Eastward that were submitted to the city for recommendation back, I guess, for the past 2 years. And if you recall back to many articles, we have had workshops, and I will continue to support the installation of those said devices on the streets in the city. And now that there's another board requesting it, possibly, we'll get more attention to it. As I stated, there were several streets, over 900 signatures obtained from, I believe, a total of 11 petitions filed, if I'm not mistaken, by various neighborhoods in the Eastward. So I commend you on your efforts, and know that you have my full support, as my board does, in having such traffic calming devices installed. We do have signage, plenty of signs, and I'm sure that the individuals can read the signs because they are numerals. Unfortunately, you can put, and it reminds me of the Simpson episode, tons of signs up, but if the person's going to break the law, they're going to break the law regardless if the sign is there or not. Just like the device that we have that we place on various streets, stating what speed you're doing, the individual behind that wheel already knows their speed. So I really don't think they need a machine to tell them what they're doing. Their speedometer tells them just as well. But we do need devices out there to assist our police officers, where they try to do a very good job in enforcing. And I know when they might work, when they get requests, they do try to accommodate the various neighborhoods. They do have a lot of other jobs to do, as we read, rather than just sit still and clock speeders. And we do want them out there protecting us, and speeding is a major issue and can be just as much as
Trenton is left. Yeah, but I was in the back of the prison. Okay, you don't have to stop right now. What the process is, once the petition is returned, Danny Johnson, Director of Public Works. Procedure is you submit the petition, it will then be looked upon the traffic engineer to see if the street is feasible, size-wise, and doable to put the speed bumps. Your colleague, who used to work with this several times, question he also can likely consider. So street size, everything varies. Also, particularly variation of the safety, fire engines, so on and so on. And you know, pending approval of traffic engineering goes. Pending approval of traffic engineering, or that yet to happen. Traffic engineering yet to approve. Not yet to approve, we have not established it. But hypothetically, for that to happen, it would then go to. I want to leave the hypothetical until it happens. So, what about that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, John. Mr. President. Mr. Moderator? Yes, sir. Mr. Stewart, call Mr. Stewart. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you. Stewart, 79 Longwood Street. Yes, ma'am. I'm the president of the South Trenton Area Residents Society, and I will not be brief this evening. You know, one of the things that Councilman Segura mentioned about the legal fees, outside lawyers being hired, there were 3 law firms that were hired. Their fees added up to $115,000. That's more than enough money to hire 2 lawyers for the city to take some strange law being done. The legal department, so I don't know why we have to go outside in the city to find a law firm, although I understand what the explanation. As far as Bill Wallace is concerned, considering they wouldn't run offices here in the city of Trenton, I'm not sure I hired them to handle maybe a speeding ticket. That's another issue. Okay, let's do the speed bumps first. The stretch from Cannon Street to Bridge Street is half a mile. There is no break, and most of, or many drivers seem to think they're not real break, and they go tearing up. If there was some way to break it, because the stop sign was at Bridge Street. There are stop signs on Federal going east and west. You'd be surprised the number of people who run those stop signs, which is why I had to slow down. Maybe a 4-way stop sign at Federal Street. It's also possible one of those little cameras that take pictures of you if you go to the stop sign, and then you automatically get a ticket in the hand. There's any number of things I think can be done to break off that half-mile stretch that is empty, believe me. So, but the young lady who spoke before made several good points. It is a serious problem. And I'd rather solve it before somebody gets killed. So, okay, takes care of that. Mr. Lamotte, a question when I mentioned to you about non-alcoholic beverages. What about these establishments selling soft drinks? Could they do that? Put tables outside and sell soft drinks?
Business license would say, I'm not sure.
Mr. What are you referring to? Okay, sorry, yes. For National Night Out, stars that were close off Lambert Street between Lexington and Cass. We've already started the paperwork. We have 2 bars in that area, PD Sports Bar and Lambert and Liquor. We don't want to do anything to louse up their sales for that evening. So we thought originally if they could put tables outside and serve. Stars is going to supply the hot dogs and
neither establishment has a license to serve outside. To get a temporary license to serve liquor outside is $100. Landlords and liquors could probably afford it. EDs can't. Stars can't afford to pay. And we were told that the chance of getting a fees waived are non-existent. I personally don't want to have to pay these fees. So while I was sitting there listening to these discussions, I thought, what if we should sell soft drinks? But they be allowed to sell soft drinks outside. I want to give them business. I want to bring them in to this event. But I don't want it to cost them on the way either. Because you see, we're going to do a theme. We're going to do the Feast of Pomona, which is in August for the ancient Roman festival of Pomona, the goddess of fortune. See how we'll go with that. It's original. The business hasn't thought about donating. That hurt you financially, I don't think so much. Okay. And if they can serve soft drinks outside, I'm wondering if they can allow to do that rather than what would I go to? Where's going to let you not necessarily a board. Of course, they're regulated differently.
We have those circumstances in the past during the hurricane event, and they have been allowed to sell beverages, soft drinks outside in front of the restaurant or bar with no real problem whatsoever. I'm not sure whether the ordinances require some kind of a business license to operate for that day. But that's something that's very minimal to obtain. And basically, the health inspector will just come by and make sure that everything is whatever you're going to do out there, if you're going to sell bottles or whatever, will be fine. It shouldn't be a problem. That's not difficult to solve.
Okay. I think we'll just have a small riot and be done. Yeah. Heritage Day, by the way, that was a lot of fun, and I'm glad though that Mr. Crispy didn't use Nicholas because he was pulled in for a 12-hour shift because he's been there. And, okay, the letter regarding Jones, in a way I'm glad it was pulled. I think we should wait until after council has their investigation, and I hope they do investigate rather than just sit around and talk. And then the other question is the felons working from the library. I don't know exactly what's going on. You have to read the paper, Mr. President. I have not seen much. Oh, okay. In today's Trenton Times, there was an article where apparently your colleague, Mr. Costin, noticed that a woman working in the children's room at the main branch was convicted of, I believe, arson. And here she is. She's wearing an electronic bracelet now. I'm not sure how she pulled it off either, but she is convicted of a crime. She is working with children. I don't know how to handle that issue. I know a lot of people are saying, oh my God, this is terrible. And in my days, I'll give you a war story. When I was working for probation, and it's become my handle of PTI, I had women who wanted to work, and who couldn't because they had a matter pending before the court. And one afternoon, I had a screaming match with Carabelli, because one of my clients was offered a job with the Board of Education in the cafeteria, labeling out soup. All right? PTI developed her car. Hardly a danger to society, but she couldn't be hired because she had a matter pending before the court. I know there's a form, conflicts and resolutions. I got the form. I'm a college graduate. I found it complicated. You're dealing with some poor woman who didn't graduate from high school. What is the long way of saying these laws have to be looked at, they have to be revised. I don't know that this woman who's working for the public library is dangerous to anyone. So before we all panic, let's find out what's going on. Let's look at the regulations because they are very, very harsh. Society says, oh, you committed a crime, you're in jail. Now when you get out, you want to be a good, solid citizen. But you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other thing, you can't have a license. And these are unfortunately state regulations, so we have to go to the state. But this is all a very long way of saying, Houston, we have a problem. There's a lot going on in this city that has to be corrected, and putting our heads in the sand and saying, no, it doesn't exist, everything is wonderful, isn't going to accomplish a thing. And I really hope you all have the courage to say we have a problem, we're going to correct it as soon as possible, and if it's dirty, too bad, clean it up. So that is, I think I've said enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Yes, ma'am.
Extremism in defense of the city of Trenton is no vice, and you're too young to know what I say.
I'll take that as a thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Stewart.
I don't get it.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Trust me. Yes, sir. State your name and address for the record. Yes, sir.
As an actor, I had some things written down, but I wanted to say, I do support the speed competition, whether it's in South Trenton, North Trenton, East Trenton, especially in my neighborhood. So that being said, I'm in support of that. I'm here on a more personal matter, and you've seen me here before, and I come humbly, and I have a minor request that affect me personally, quality of life issues, of course, and I will not spend my wheels on you. Some of you have been past personally, if you know that I have a handicapped family member, and recently I have become moderately handicapped also as a result of my job. But first and foremost, my wife has become very wheelchair dependent over the years. And for years now, I've been trying to move forward on building or utilizing a vacant lot that sat idle kind of in the, what we say in the wheels of justice or something. And we couldn't really figure out who owned this property or the city owned property. But without going into a whole lot of detail about it, I want to move forward with that. I have talked to several city employees, directors, and other representatives, and kind of spun on those a little more. Cliche, this wheel gets decreased. I can't speak anymore at this point. I have addressed several different times, both verbally, in writing, and so on. Again, I don't want to take a lot of time. I have made some baby steps. They are very small baby steps, but very small progress. However, in previous, Mr. Malone, Mr. Caravelli, Mr. Cucciati, and several other people have been in support of what I'm intending to do, and we are making the baby steps, of course. Hopefully, as I'm told, just more recently, very soon, those are the terms that we use very loosely, that will move forward. The property I've spent a lot of my own time and effort locating the owner of the property on the very next block. They were prepared to release the property to me in the form of use it as you need it, and
spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort. People that are present here know that I have done a lot of sweat over the past 2 months to improve the property, my property, whether it's valuable or not, for the needs of my life. And that's why I'm here today. I would like to reopen a line of communication with Mr. Gonzalez, which I started some time ago. I won't call it the numbers, but it's been a very long time. And now it's back to the department that I need to address. Perhaps we can open that line of communication and move forward for the needs. And I am being selfish in what I'm saying, for my needs, for my family's needs. I'm sorry, for my needs and my family's needs. So being selfish as a man, that's the time that I need to study. And we the little people will come forward when it's necessary, and I support a lot of you. I'd like to thank you for long, Mr. Carroll, Mr. Pucciani, and all those other people that I didn't mention for supporting me and my family and the needs that we have.
Thank you, sir. I read the letter, and
sort of on the effort to try to recognize his license. Years ago, when my mother came to the wheelchair, and I had to do some different things myself, especially my own, so that she could move out. And I had to take talking to the front of my home, and so I had to work on the back, to get the right to put her on the back. I see a lot of times when people do, when it becomes too difficult, they try to relocate. I believe that it's a physical home that is living in the city. And it's my hope that the administration will work with you so that you can provide the access to internet for you. Good luck in that road. Yeah, work.
Sir, I've been for a few years now. The situation that I was talking about, and I'm talking with you and your business, and how you letter and you lead, and I know you with the wife, I said, one of the person who is the situation that she is physically, and I know you said very well to her, really, no problem, but you are a human being, life, and everything concerns us around the city, so perhaps I can also support you in and I hope that something can be done to alleviate your situation, and so you can work collaborate.
thank you very much. Thank you. I'm going to move my left hand to this one. But I want to work over there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please state your name and address for the record, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening, sir.
Council. My name is Leon Walker, Bruce Oversight.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Mr. President, I'd like to know where the administration stands on the slum land donation.
We have not scheduled a workshop yet. I am hoping that we'll schedule something relatively short in the next 3 workshops.
Can you give me an idea, perhaps a week, 2 weeks, a month?
It will be on Tuesdays, there at this time. Pardon?
I'll give you an idea what that date is. She said she's ready to give you a date. Can you give me an idea what that date's going to be?
Well, if I get the next Tuesday, I will, or the following Tuesday, but it'll be on Tuesday workshop. Let's say it's, oh, we do the June. Yeah, we'll try to put something for June.
These slum land are just destroyed our city. Every day, every week, every month, we delay it. They buy more and more properties, and they control the city more and more in the process of controlling it. They're destroying it, they take all the money and go to them, and look at New York, the town land, city, wherever they come, and they leave us tripping, great board, people here, who are that when my dad built that door, all that bags on that for the last 7 years, and paid his taxes, raised his family, and maintained his property, and he doesn't get no consideration. But these slum landlords can do whatever they want to do. That's why I keep hammering away. When is this administration going to shield these slum landlords? It gives me the impression there's something else going on, and the truth is not coming out. Why you continue to put it off and let them get away with it. Secondly, I'm going to ask you again about the little cat having license. I know Councilwoman Stickman was very sincere and concerned about that too. When are you guys going to address that issue?
Yes, Ms. Webber, with regards to council, I think we came to council for Mr. Dalton, but I know the tax issue is going on as well. It has nothing to do with my administration. Can you please do that in some regards to
We don't go on that. We have a lot of stray laws, stray taxes. It might not be a concern in the interest of other people, but the residents of Long Avenue is serious concern. I think there's a lot of tax running all over. Yes, but they don't. That's what else they still I keep coming to my elected officials and telling the people who I voted for and support and talk about and brag about to the public all the time. That's why I bring you, Mr. President, you're the main one I support. Now on to my main concern about city council as a whole. I've been someone who's attended many council meetings over the last several years. I have endorsed the Honorable Douglas H. Congress. I have been a staunch supporter of Joe Sangallo and the police department. I have been a staunch supporter of Paul Michael Teller. I have been a staunch supporter of Nancy Gore. I have been a staunch supporter of E.D. and you know how I feel about the Honorable people alone. He's mine. But I have to say this, Councilman, on the record. What I've been saying in City Council the last 7 years is a disgrace. As my elected officials, and you as the president, something that I've always admired about you and held you in high esteem, the way you've always been able to conduct yourself with class and polish. But last week, the way you came off on me and attacked Mr. Harris was unacceptable. And yes, I was the one who spoke about why we set the council members get together, and maybe we might do need a new council president. Maybe we might need a new beginning. And there's nothing wrong with that. You've been the council president for how long, about the ask?
How old did you know?
No, I'm asking, how long have you been the council president so far?
This is the second time.
Okay, so we're going on most likely another 8 years. At the last president election, I stood before council and said that I felt that each one of you guys was worthy of being the council president. It should be just one person hold that seat for a long time. I think each one of you are representing the people. So I think each one of y'all should have a shot at the presidency. And see, it bothers me, Mr. President, because I know how hard I worked to get Mayor Conley reelected. I know how hard I worked to get you reelected. How hard I worked for DD how hard I worked for Councilman Segura. Councilman Segura always says about the Latino community. It's just as many black people voting for him as the Latinos. And I have the numbers backing up. That's why I can stand here and say that. So the way you guys carry on that council room, you talk about the hoodlums on the street. You talk about the gang members. It's a disgrace to you guys. I thought the 7 of y'all supposed to become one. Plotting against one another. I don't like this one. Looking nasty at that one.
Yeah.
Administration. I mean, hey, what is all that for? We the people. We voted for you, Paul. We voted for you, Gino. We voted for you, man. I voted for you, DD. I have letters for you, Councilman State. I have a letter for you. That's why I was hurt when I heard that outlandish statement that you made, Mr. Teller, about Dion being the extreme. I have a letter that you wrote me, thanking me, when you reconciled I need a machine to live. And I have been doing that 3 times a week for 4 hours and 30 minutes every Monday morning, every Wednesday, and every Friday, from 6 in the morning to 11:30. But I sacrificed all that to come out campaigning for me. And it means the world to me. That's why you always see me talk about Mayor Palmer. Mom doesn't say Palmer. Mayor Palmer this. Paul can tell that. She ain't doing that. Man is going. These things that. Because I believe in you guys. And not believe in possible faith or possible value. But I have a personal relationship with you guys. And you know my condition. And when we sacrifice being on dialysis and my health not being well and living with mom and dad and having to deal with daily situations over on Walnut Avenue, which is undisputable, I expect more out of you guys. I believe in common cause, each and every one of them, and I expect you guys to do the right things by the people. But I'm going to base my conclusion off of what's going on over on Walnut Avenue. Walnut Avenue is a disgrace. And I don't want to be said because Councilman Malone is the councilman of East Ward. Well, Dion, you put that on him. I'm holding all accountable. I'm holding this administration accountable. I'm holding the residents accountable. Let's just do the right thing, Mr. President. Because not only do I feel this way, other people feel this way. I voted for you. It's 37,000 registered voters in this town. 13,000 came out the first time we voted, which was a very small percentage. So the majority of the public really didn't voice their opinion. In the runoff, only 5,000 people came out. So even a small percentage, because people are fed up. People really don't think they got their own very big battles to deal with. But it's people like me who truly care. That's why I keep telling you, me and you were born and bred. Me and Malone was born and bred. Dee's born and bred. The Honorable Douglas J. Palmer was born and bred. Director Jackson is born and bred. Director Pucciati is born and bred. Director Allen, we are born and bred. It should mean something. I'm counting on the council, Mr. President. I'm counting on the council as a whole to put all the differences to the side. I know some of you got higher ambitions to go on and be mayor or Congress, but for the common good, we voted you guys in to do a job, and we want you guys to do it because we voted for you. People like my father pay taxes, and they expect and they demand from you. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Yes, ma'am.
He's slick. Good. I'll be last.
Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I called the city council. I'm here because I called the city council. And nothing is happening, and that makes me very angry. I called in reference to 743 Center Street, with the trash and garbage and weeds a mile high. I called 739, which is right next door. Next
Thank you, Mr. You said you don't have Mr.
Paul Harris, 137 Center Street, Trenton, New Jersey. 5/22/07. It was Tuesday. We had city council conference meeting. I was here, and there was an incident in city council. It was resolved, as you guys do know. I was during public comment, and I was interrupted by yourself, and you had motioned for the security guard to remove me because I guess my comment wasn't to your liking. You didn't. I was able to stay in the meeting and didn't finish my comment though. This same security guard pulled me aside downstairs as I was walking down with Jim Costa and Gino Malone's in the hallway, and there was a bunch of building service workers who were sitting there, probably should have been sitting there anyway. And they were, this man, his name is Mustafa, I don't know his last name, but pulled me aside and explained to me, Mr. Harris, because as you guys know, there was an inebriated man in the meeting 2 weeks ago, and I pointed this out and other folks pointed out, you could smell the alcohol. And I made the suggestion that maybe our security personnel should check for alcohol, because it would be disruptive to a meeting to have a man or woman in our meetings who are drunk, would disrupt proceedings. This security guard said to me, I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. I don't need you to go to city council and give them any suggestions. I'm here 14 hours a day doing my job. And yada, yada, yada. I responded, you serve at the pleasure of the city of Trenton. I said this about 15 times. He's not, he's not listening to he's not caring what I'm saying. Then he makes the comment that he was going to kick my ass, run up into my ass. This is the threat that he made to me in front of, Gino's there, Jim's in front of the two councilmen and the group of people who were there. These are the comments that he made to me. My response, you serve at the pleasure of the city. I'm going to continue to come week after week, and I'm going to bring up whatever issues I feel I need to bring up. Now, this man, then he proceeded to come after me, and if it wasn't for the heavy-set guard that you have down there, he would have came after me. Jim Costa says it's time to go, we should leave, it's not worth it, then I'll leave. I get to my house, and then I come back to city council, it's about 9:30. I then proceed to call the Trenton police and have them come out. They sent 3 cops out, and a police report was filed. This is the first police report was filed. I took about 20 minutes to tell them. I told them the exact story. I spoke to some people later that evening. It ended up in a newspaper, and I put it on my blog, very, very specific. But it's fascinating to me that the man who would pull me aside, the man who would threaten me because I was here to speak, would be the man that you would to have removed me from the meeting. That's the first point. It's the same man that you told to remove me from the meeting because I was voicing my concerns. It's the same man that would do this. That's the first thing. The second thing is, about 3 or 4 days later, I'm coming from Hamilton Marketplace to 601, getting off Roebler Market, because I live in that area, so I'm going to walk where the Roebler Market is, and I'm crossing the street. I'm saying, and sometimes cars will sit in the intersection and wait for you to turn, wait for you to walk across. So I'm not understanding to myself, as I'm in my own world, why this car is stopped. It's a white Mercedes-Benz. And I cross, I look across, and here's this same guard, Mustafa, in his Mercedes-Benz with his girlfriend. And he stays there for like a minute looking at me. He turns, yells at the window, faggot-ass motherfucker. This is what he yells at the window, okay? He proceeds, I guess they're going to go buy something. I stop and I think about it for a long time. I said, Paul, should you call the cops? I called Trenton Police. The second report was filed, okay? I didn't have his name. And I said, you know what? This is the man. I don't know if he was following me or what, but this man made comments to me. I wanted to have it on the record in case something does happen, they have a second incident report. These are 2 police reports filed with regards to one of your security guards. That's what happened with that. I came to see Eric Jackson 3 times with regards to, the only thing I wanted is not to know with regards to the status of the investigation. I needed a name. Because if this man were to attack me downtown, what do the police department have? They have nothing. They don't have his name. He's just a black male, 6'2", 200 pounds. I needed a name so I could give them. These reports don't have names on it. And I had to call Butter Allen at his extension on a Sunday to get him. No one has any information for me. And the only thing I wanted was one thing, was a name that I could give to the Trenton Police Department. So if something were to happen to me, if this man were to approach me outside, they would at least have a name. Because City Council, this building isn't open 24/7. That's the other thing. So I'm still waiting to speak to Mr. Jackson. The other thing is, I saw you on Saturday at Heritage Day, and you are aware of my efforts. I didn't appreciate your conduct in the meeting, and I guess I have been on the phone with folks about finding another president. Absolutely. I have no shame in saying that. Absolutely. First thing you said to me, Mr. Harris, you're not going to get the votes. Okay, fine. But no, excuse me. I'm going to finish that. I'm going to finish. No, Mr. President, no, you. Okay. Okay, so. Okay. But, okay.
I said, whatever you do.
No, actually, Mr. President, what you said is, Mr. Harris, you only have 3 votes, and I think get the 4th vote because you haven't been here long enough. But that's not the point. Let's continue. The point